love me, girl.
Yes, Martin, you know I do.
And, how your man looking in his suit?
You know how your mom tells you, don't make that face, it might get stuck like that? I think this is that face. Although it comes with better teeth than what I've got. What's it doing to my eyebrows? That's pretty insane. Did you see the lady that went into Target and she started harassing the 80 or 90-year-old lady? It's like, why are you wearing that Charlie Kirk shirt? He's a piece of shit. He's racist. She's like, I don't think he's a racist. It's like, you're a dumbass. That lady got arrested. She was being a real bitch to this old lady for no reason. A lot of people are making content where they go and they just harass people in stores. And it's a real dickhead ass thing to do. You know? People are trying to do their job. They're trying to live their life. They're trying to make it through their day. And they don't need somebody coming and putting them on film being an asshole. What the fuck? Over? Try to get something. What is this? Can't I just have... You know, I don't want to do this anymore. This would be serious. This would be some serious shit. I don't have anything to say. I don't. I just don't. I don't know what to talk about. I tried to tell my friend about the dream I had and the story. And I thought she would say something. She didn't say nothing. So I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, I don't like that. I don't like that at all. And to be honest, the more I realized what I had experienced with the ex, the more pissed I've been lately. It's really pissed me off. Because it's like, now I know that person was trying to fuck me over. And it wasn't some bullshit that they believed or some story they made up because they thought it happened. They're just trying to straight fuck me over. And I watched one of these card readers today that basically it said, yeah, your grandfather contacted you and is proud that you stood up for yourself. Because I felt like it was my grandfather that was pushing me. And I connected it to why I had other experiences, and I thought it was something else. And then I realized that I think it was my grandpa. And the whole reading, this whole time I've had readings that were so fucking badass good that it's just so weird, you know? Yeah, when somebody's reading the cards and they're doing it like for the collective of people, you know? You don't really expect it to be so tuned into you and what you have going on. And there's like 3 of them that I listen to, and along the way, they've been perfect. Like everything they were saying was talking about what I was experiencing. And in a way, that's a gift. That's a gift because you know when it refers to you, you know? And I think you have to be a certain amount of receptive to be able to get something like that and it makes sense. I'm going to have to choose another head. What's this going to be? Oh, so dreamy. Hey, y'all. You want to take some sunshine acid? Huh? Would you like to take some sunshine acid? How about some promethazine purple? This reminds me of lean. Normally these like this go glitchy too out. They go too much glitchy. I wanted to have 500 subscribers by the end of the year, but it doesn't look like I'm going to make that. And that's a shame, because I don't know what topic to pick to talk about. I watched a really good video about this he was like a guy from the 1200s or something like that. He was a famous Buddha. He ended up being a famous Buddha, but he started out in his family, like something went on. I don't remember exactly. Like they were going around the world and they were learning magic. Like the family was into magic and they did magic in the Himalayas and shit like that in like the 1200s. Mariapai. It's hard to say the name. It's a very difficult name to say. And their family was doing good. And then his dad died. And his dad had built up, a pretty wealthy thing for the family, but the son that he had was too young. It was going to be like 7 more years before he turned 15. That's when they become a man up there. And he called the whole village. He read his will that in 7 years he wanted his son to receive all of his stuff. But his aunt and uncle was supposed to take it over during that period of time. And as soon as the dad died, basically the aunt and uncle just took everything over and he had a mom and a sister and him, and they just worked them like slaves and just kept everything. So when it came time for this guy to turn Maripai, I'll call him Maripai, hard to know. It was a really good story. I listened to it last night. It was like 3 hours long. I listened to every bit of it. It was so fucking good. So he his mom stole some food because she had to steal food. They kept them living like swines, like dogs. And she had this party for him, called the whole village together, and then announced like, you need to give the stuff to my son because everybody knows and heard. And they're like, we ain't giving you shit. We lent him some stuff, so we're taking it over. It should go to us anyway. And if you have a problem with that, raise an army and stop us. If you have enough people to fight us, fight us. If you have not enough people, then cast magic on us. And then the uncle just beat the shit out of the mom and the sister and the son right there. So they send him off to school to learn how to write. And he goes to learn how to write. And then when he comes back, he's singing because he's got like a book of 10,000 freaking poems. He was apparently a real good singer. And he's singing after he managed to come home, having learned how to write. He finally felt good about his life. He was always a good guy. and treated people good. So he goes home and he's singing, and his mom hears him singing, comes and runs out and just throws a fit. She's like, how can you be singing when they've done this to us? I mean, she threw a fucking fit. And she told him, she's like, you're going to go, you take your ass up to the Llama and you get teachings. You learn black magic and you fuck them up with black magic, the uncle and the aunt. So he went off. He goes to the Llama to learn, and he tells him what he needs to do. He's got to give a gift, so, he gives you have to give a gift. I don't know what he gave at the time. But he's able to get training by this Llama. And then, but his mom said, if you don't come back, I'm going to kill myself. If you don't come back and learn some black magic to fuck them up, I'm going to kill myself. So the Llama that he went to taught white magic, how to heal, how to do good weather stuff, how to make rain, all magic stuff that they, I have in these books. So these practices are things you can do. They do work. So what he did was, when they were sent off after they graduated, he went halfway with the students that were going into the world to do their spells and, do this sort of, but, Buddhists had, the Tibetan Buddhists have like a shamanic tradition, a magic tradition mixed in with Buddhism. So the other guys were going to go off and begin their life doing that, that was going to be their job. That was going to be their service to the world. He turned back around and he started picking dung and putting it in the garden for the Llama, because he had asked him to teach him this destructive magic. And he's like, look, I don't do that type of stuff, but there's another Llama that teaches you. I'll write you a recommendation and I'll send you to him. So he goes to this guy and he tells him what he wants to learn to do. And he has to make a little hut, like a little room, and he has to stay in there for 7 days and do this spell. And he stays in there for 14 days to do it. And the Llama said he was going to be able to kill 35 people. Those are the people in his village. And there was something, he needed to do something to kill the other two, but he wanted to leave them alive, the aunt and the uncle, to suffer because of what they did. And he does this, and he finds out, it did work. It did work. He ends up wanting to learn Buddhism because he wanted to, and this thing that he did that killed the people really bothered him for the rest of his life, and he wanted to atone for it. So he went to another teacher that wouldn't give him any of the teachings. He was supposed to build this tower, and the guy kept fucking it up. And what the guy was doing was making it really hard and difficult for him so that he would be able to receive these teachings. This guy meditated for like 12 years straight. People would do that back in the day. But he obtained enlightenment. in the same life. He went off, like, even the black magic Llama, the one that taught him the destructive magic, when they set out to learn Buddhism to get enlightenment and, make right for the wrongs that they've done. Um, the two of them went together, so it was a beautiful story. Even though the guy did that stuff, um, it was his mom that pushed him to do that, and he did make it up. He did correct his karma, and he's like a national hero in Tibet because of that, and had a lineage, I believe. So, Marapai, fascinating story. It just goes to show you that you can take your circumstances that are dark and oppressive, and they can be the fuel that makes you receptive to actually turn your whole shit around. And I guess that's a good enough story to share. But I'm going to be working on trying to figure out what to make for content, because I like to watch a lot of stuff. I do a lot of research. I look at stuff every day. And sometimes things really just jump out at me that I'd like to share. The channel, I'll share the channel that had that video, but it's a very interesting story about a Buddhist monk, or a Tibetan, whatever they were back in the day, because it was all kind of new. But it just goes to show you that, I mean, Buddha's just as valid of a teacher and enlightened master on the path just as much as Jesus is. Except, the Buddhism seems to be real good for your mind, whereas Christianity, it seems to be real good for your soul, if you do it right.